r/Nosleep. Posted by Reddit user G_A93. The timeshare presentations in Nevada are getting out of control. And walk away with a trip to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Enjoy a complimentary 5-day, 4-night stay at any MGM casino resort. All on us. No nonsense, no gimmicks. Just a bit of your precious time. Call today. Yes. A vacation extravaganza, all on the arm. Courtesy of the Hibu Timeshare Corporation. All it cost was your time and cooperation for a timeshare presentation. Simple enough, yes? I wish I would have realized how much better a couple of overtimes would have served me than taking myself to that horrid building. I was living in Phoenix, Arizona with my parents, still halfway bullshitting my final semester at college. I've got to be honest, I was checked out. It was summer. I was going to graduate, and I had these final 2 classes in the bag. I could have failed my finals and still walked out with a C. Yes, but that kind of luxury comes at a price. My social life was a casualty in all of this. While I did have a tight knit of pals, my attendance to social gatherings were, well, less than punctual. I was usually doing work for one of my advanced classes. If not that, then I was pulling a shift at either of my jobs. Yeah, you could say I gave up the glamour of late-night pizzas, puking in my friend's car, and hooking up with random ASU frat sluts for a heavier wallet. Except, I was paying everything out of my own pocket. My gas, insurance, cell phone, college. I wasn't exactly hiding cash in the walls. My parents worked hard, but never did make a living to give me and my siblings an extravagant lifestyle. We were grateful, though. So, when I heard that ad of how I could get a long-needed vacation to Party Central Las Vegas, all for watching some bullshit timeshare I knew I wasn't going to buy into, you bet your ass off I made that call. The phone only rang once before I got an answer. Thank you for calling the Hibu Timeshare Corporation. How can we help you? A voice rang through the phone. The voice sounded shrill and sickly. Hi, I'm calling about the vacation in Vegas. Says that you need people for a present. Yes, the voice interrupted. The timeshare presentation. Well, we would be so honored to have you. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'd like to sign up. Is there a form online, or do you take the information here? I said, now feeling a bit tense. Well, I'll tell you what. Pack your things for the vacation. When we're finished presenting, we can send you on your way to Vegas. We just need a bit of your time. And that was that. He gave me the address, date and time of the meeting. The area was a place called Amargosa Valley in Nevada. Luckily, it was just about an hour away from Vegas. Before we parted ways on the phone, though, the operator said something. He said something that should have been a major red flag. Okay then, you're all set. We will see you July 28th at 4:30 p.m. Not a moment later. He laughed. Oh, and one more thing. If you have some more specimens like yourself that might be interested in the free vacation, bring them along. They'll all receive the same prize, and you will receive $100 cash for each person you bring. We look forward to presenting you, Austin. Good day. I never gave him my name. Still, my young dumb brain didn't hear anything past $100. So I rounded up a few of my best pals and we were set to meet the reps over at the timeshare. The days leading up to the trip, I couldn't get a hold of myself. It was so exciting. My first real vacation in... I couldn't remember how long. I longed for this type of adventure with my friends. We packed a truck full and set off to Amargosa Valley. I brought Luke, Larry, and Adam. We'd been friends since the 3rd grade. We all moved to Arizona from different parts of the country that summer, so being new kids, we naturally ganged up with each other. Luke was from Texas, and we called him Tex. Real big guy, loved to work out, but was a bit of a booze bag. Larry was from Ohio, quiet in public, but probably the loudest of all of us. He always had some political conspiracy to talk about. Then Adam. Adam was interesting. He was from Florida, or Georgia, or Nebraska. Adam could never keep it straight about where he was from. He always had some sort of story and backtrack about where he'd come from. I personally thought he was probably from another part of Arizona, and just wanted to fit in. So we humored him and let him be the nomad of our group. I myself was originally from California. Things got pricey, so we made the move to blistering Arizona. Yeah, that was my crew. No matter how long it'd been, we were always as tight as ever. The ride was filled with laughing and gags, stops at fast food joints, and all around bullshitting. Yeah, it was an amazing time just driving there. We couldn't wait to get on with the meeting and head down to Boozeville, USA. As we approached our destination, something felt off. Amargosa Valley had been a bit of a ghost town the whole drive. A gas station here, a small outlet there, but otherwise pretty unpopulated. When we hit our destination, we were met by a chrome building, smack center in the middle of the highway. As we parked at the only stall, we all took a look at each other. Well, this is odd, Luke said plainly. Yeah, man. Are we really going there? Adam shook out, barely containing his fear. Look, guys, I know it looks weird. This place is really clean and bright in the middle of a dusty desert. But come on. It's like, what, an hour of our time? Within 2 hours, we'll probably be on our way to the dopest guys trip ever, I said selfishly. The guys all agreed. We got out, locked the car up, and walked in through the sliding glass doors. The cool air hit us like a wave, each of us breathing in the refreshingly cold air. The inside of the lobby was also immaculate. Chrome everywhere, right down to the sofas and chairs. A woman came from around the front desk. You must be here to be presented. I see you brought more specimens. What a joy! Will you gentlemen please follow me? She said. Specimens. Ugh. Her tone. That word still makes me shudder. Me and the boys looked at each other, all with the same should we do it look on our faces. Maybe it was the cold air enticing our sweaty brows. We'd been in a poorly AC'd truck for a couple of hours. Or maybe it was the ice-cold drink she presented to us. Whatever the case, we followed her through a door behind the front desk. And we were met with a grand auditorium. It looked as if it could hold maybe 50 people. And all they had was me and my knucklehead friends. As we sat down, sucking down sodas and waters, a man's voice came over the intercom. Welcome, my friends, to the Hibu Timeshare Corporation presentation. Today, you'll be examining the lifetime of these vessels, determine whether or not you think they're a smart investment, and make a choice if you would like to partake. I recognized the voice. It was the same shrill tone that I set up the appointment with. Now, my dear friends, it's time to sit back with your favorite drink and listen. With that, a large projector screen came down from the ceiling. An old-timey countdown began winding down. From what I can remember, I heard the screams of something unnatural. A scream so high in tone that I felt as if my ears would burst with blood. I tried clasping my hands over my ears, but to no avail. The screams were too overpowering. As soon as it started, I passed out. I awoke, looking at the lights on the ceiling, unable to sit up. I could tell I was bare-ass naked on a metal table. I moved my head, the little that I could, to see Adam next to me on another table, naked as the day we were born. He was encased in what looked like a light purple energy field. Looking more in depth, I too had this field in front of me. Before I could speak, the tables raised up, bringing me upright, bringing me face to face with Tex. To the left of me, Larry. My friends, I present to you Terramite 990 specimens. A voice rang out, the same voice from the auditorium. They are of the male species, strong, cunning, and, above all, loyal, if raised properly. Hey, you bastard! What the fuck is this? Let us go! Tex cried out. Before he could continue, the energy field tightened all around him. Tex let out a scream that will haunt me for the rest of my life. The smell of burned flesh and hair filled the area. I would have puked had the horror of seeing my best friend being burned alive wasn't keeping my attention away from the smell. When the field lifted, Tex was stripped down to his bare muscle fibers, hair burdened down to the scalp. Tex convulsed until he finally relaxed into a hanging position on the table. Now see, the specimen is now sedated, relaxed into a weaker position, with the energy field keeping him contained and the auto-reversal time warp engaging. We can have this specimen back into working shape immediately. There was an electrical hum in the air, as before my eyes, Tech's skin began to heal, his hair growing back, and all burns subsiding. It was as if nothing had happened to him. He still hung in limbo, but we could see the breath return to his chest. The rest of us let out bits of gasps of horror and astonishment. I could see Adam crying a bit in the corner of my eyes. A figure appeared from behind me. A tentacle graced my shoulder, not even phased by the force field. I caught sight of the creature. It stood around 7 foot tall, skin that looked human but a head that was elongated, no nose, and eyes that were black as coal. It had 2 tentacles for hands. I could not see its feet, as it was covered by a long gown. Larry screamed in anger. You... He managed to get out, before the creature silenced him. Shh. I am a salesman, is all. Now, my friends, I will demonstrate the life cycle of the Terramite 990s. With that, Larry's force field began to hum. And right before my eyes, Larry began to get smaller. Not in stature necessarily, no, but in age. He went from being a young man to a teenager, to that kid I met in 3rd grade, to an infant. His cries were extremely loud, unaware of the horrors around him. At that moment, I could hear Adamsfield begin to hum. "Please, no, please," Adam begged. "If you will direct your attention to our 3rd pod." Adam then began to scream as he went from a young man to a middle-aged man to retirement age and, finally, to a decrepit old man, hair as white as snow, wrinkled beyond recognition. Each breath looking to nearly be his last. From birth to the declining ages of 70 to 100, Terran years of course, the auto-reversal time warp pods are the perfect tool to use when training your armies, your children, your slaves. Imagine never having to replace workers, never worrying if your training methods or punishments might go too far, never losing a prisoner to death, the creature said, full of glee in his eyes. Between the crying of baby Larry and the incoherent babbling of old man Adam, the room felt like it was spinning. Just when I thought things couldn't get any stranger, the rest of the lights came to life. The room we were in was surrounded by seats, similar to the ones we sat in. However, sitting in these seats were ghastly creatures of different varieties. Some looked like the salesman creature. Others were ogreish, large-bodied creatures covered with a film of slime. Some of them even looked human. I was the eyes, though. Their eyes were a teal color with white pupils. Many creatures looked upon me and my friends. All of them began clapping their hands in unison. Their claps were deafening. The cries of the baby felt as if a baseball bat was connecting with my head every second. Adam's babbling was terrifyingly disturbing. And Tex, hanging there, eyes rolled back into his skull. I couldn't imagine the hell he began to feel. At this point, I wondered what awaited my fate. The clapping stopped abruptly. "Oh, Austin, yes, well, if you were wondering what fate awaits you, just shut your eyes. Shut your eyes and quietly count back from 3, the creature said. Was he reading my mind? Suddenly, the urge to close my eyes overtook me. Almost as if I had no choice, I began counting down. 3, 2, 1. Everything went black. I wasn't sure if I was alive or dead, or somewhere in between. I saw nothing but black for what felt like a lifetime. And in an instant, I heard that same shrill scream, only this time, I could not cover my ears. I couldn't feel my body, but I felt an unimaginable amount of pain. As the screams grew to its peak, I slammed my eyes open, trying to catch my breath. I was back in the car. We were all back in the car. The engine was on, shitty AC blasting. The others were still out. I sat up in my seat, not wanting to move suddenly. The sun was beating down on us. I looked over at the time on the dash. July 28th, 4:34 p.m. I reached into my shirt pocket, and I found several vouchers for the MGM hotels in Las Vegas, along with $300 cash. I also found a card that simply read, "The Hibu Timeshare Corp would like to thank you for a bit of your time." The boys came too, all feeling rather groggy. "We all fell asleep, huh?" Adam laughed. Are we here?" They didn't remember a thing. Not one thing. Not going in, not the reception area, not the freaky timeshare presentation. Not one bit. I lied. I told them that while they were sound asleep, we arrived a little earlier than expected. The presenter had an emergency and left our vouchers at the front desk and apologized profusely. Wow, what a gentleman, Tex laughed. We definitely owe it to him to sit through another timeshare. Pro bono, Larry added. I think it's safe to say that I will not be returning to this or any other timeshares. As I drove away, I could see the building disappear in the rearview mirror. So, if you're traveling deep within the southwest of the United States and hear an ad for a free vacation that's too good to be true, do yourself a favor. Turn off the radio, call into work, and ask for some overtime. Because nothing is ever given for free.